welcome back everyone to the craft portion of our lesson of the fiery furnace with Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. And I thought about what can we do to make this kind of just wrap this lesson up and just have some fun with it so we can remember this story. And I thought, well, maybe we could make a fiery furnace, but of course we can't make fire, so we can't do that. But we're going to be a little creative and just use our little brains that, big brains that God gave us and our creativity and put something together. We're going to do something that's going to show Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego and the Son of God inside there. And I thought we can get a cup. So for this particular project, what you're going to need to do is get something like a cup. If you have styrofoam cups or if you have a red Solo cup, something like that, you'll need one of them. You'll need some glue, all right? And I used Elmer's all-purpose glue for this. You'll need some tape. You'll need a marker. You'll need some construction paper, and I used tissue paper. Now again, for these projects, you can kind of use what supplies you have. Don't feel pressure that you don't have everything that Miss Donna has. You can just find things around the house that will work to make your project just the same way, or just again, use your creativity to bring it to life, all right? So we have this, and if you look at it, you're going to actually see inside here, we have Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, and we have the Son of God in there. And I have the tissue paper in there to just represent the flames, all right? And this is going to be the fiery furnace, the blazing furnace. And then as we take a little light, if you have a little flashlight, at the end we're going to put a light through it, and you'll be able to actually see them through this cup as if there's little flames in here. All right, and then you can put a Bible verse on here if you want to when we're done, and I'll go through a few of them. You can add to this as a reminder of the lesson that we learned today. But let's get started, all right? So we're going to take our cup, and again, I have a gold one, so this works nicely, and you're going to need to get some scissors here and just cut through this. Now, these cups might be a little difficult to cut through, so you might need some assistance with mom or dad or an older sibling or something, so be careful with it, okay? And don't get frustrated, take your time. But you're going to cut through because you want to make a little door, just like a furnace has a little door, right? So we're going to cut into it on both sides, and you can make it bigger or smaller, whatever works for you. Cut around and take your time. And that'll be the beginning of our furnace. So you can see there how I cut that little opening in there and then just kind of rounded it off, and do it however works best for you. You can always decorate around here. If you cut it too much, you can fix it, all right? So never get frustrated with it, or you can put some tape around it if you want to clean it up a little bit. But once we have this part done, what I'm going to have you do is get a marker, and you're going to make it look realistic. You're going to make it look like it's a furnace, all right? And furnaces, they use different clay bricks and stones a lot of times because the heat will contain it, will keep it inside. So you're going to go through and just give you the illusion that you're making a little furnace. And what I did is I made some squares on here, some rectangles to represent the little bricks. But what I'm going to have you do is not make the little bricks in the back. Don't use your marker in the back because that's going to shine through. And I learned once I did it that that's better if we don't do it that way. So I'm going to just go through and make these rectangles and little squares on here to make it look like a little furnace, and just take your time. But I think a black marker will work the best, a Sharpie or something like that. So you get about that. I may have gone over a little bit too much on that one, but I'll try not to do it on this side. We'll just go through. Right? And then we're going to use some different lessons that we have learned from previous lessons, little skills that we learned to complete this project, all right? Because we want to make little men inside there. And remember from the Moses story, we did a little craft where we're cutting out little paper figures, all right, from the 12 spies. So we're going to do that same thing today, and we're going to get some construction paper. And I found that black would probably work nicely because you can see it better through the cup when we light it up. So just take a piece of construction paper and just cut through so you have a really long rectangle. And you don't want to make your figures too large, all right, because you want to be able to see them through the opening here, all right? So we're going to take it, and remember, if you didn't see this lesson, what we do with this is we fold our paper back and forth, almost like an accordion style, so then that way we can cut out little individual people, all right? So we're going to fold once forward, And then we're going to take it and fold back, just meeting right where we made our fold. All right? And back and forth with it. Now, we only need 3. But just to be sure, we'll fold one more time, just to make sure that they all turn out great. And for this, because it's on black, what I did is I actually used a white marker. Now, you can always use something other if you want to. And we're going to take this and we're going to make our little person, all right, a little circle for their head and their neck, all right, and their shoulders and their arms, all right. And bring it to the end, and then you make a little body, and then you'll make the little legs. All right, so we have this little person. Here he is. He's going to be cut out next, all right? So we're going to go through and cut this out. The little legs. And his arm. Shoulder and his head. And again, this is sometimes a little tricky, so if you need some help, ask mom or maybe a sibling, an older sibling that could help you. Please be really careful when you're doing this and just take your time. But what this does, it saves you from making 3 of them, all right? You can do 3 in one shot, all right? So we got this cut out, and again, we're gonna open it up, and I know we have more than we need, but we'll find the 3 best ones, and we'll just cut them through, and we're gonna cut them apart, because remember in our story, they weren't tied up any longer, so we're gonna cut them apart. So we have our Meshach, our Shadrach, and Abednego, and we need one other character. And do you remember who it was that was in there? Correct, it's the Son of God. And I thought we could use either a bright yellow or white to represent the Son of God, and I thought we could just do a nice white, all right? So we're gonna fold this again in half, just so that we don't have the markings on it. And again, we're gonna just cut this. And we're going to draw again our little figure. Remember how we do the head, the neck. We're going to do a little something different for this one because it's going to be the Son of God and he's going to be protecting them and praising. They're going to be praising in there. We're going to put his arms so he's up. They're up in the air. All right. And then he has his body and then his legs. All right. So then we're going to go through and cut this little character out. And I'm only doing this way so that we have no lines when we're using it, so it looks nice and clean. That's why I doubled up on it. You don't have to if you don't want to. So we've got him cut out, and he's going to be there, and we're going to put him in the back because he's going to be behind Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego in our cup. Just cut through here. And see how these lessons, all these little lessons when we learn them, how they apply, you can use them for future crafts when we're making things, all right? So in case you didn't master it the first time, you have an opportunity to master it the second time. So here we go through, and now we're gonna just cut and we'll have a nice clean one to work with. All right, so here he is. And what we're gonna do is take our glue, we're gonna line these up, and let's get rid of some of our little scraps here. Let's clean up our table. We want to have things neat when we're working through here. All right, and get some glue. And what we're going to do is actually glue our Son of God right in the back. Put a little glue in the back of him. He's going to be right smack dab in the center, but above all of them, all right? Just like Jesus is above, God's above all of us, all right? And he's going to be there protecting them and rejoicing with them that they obeyed their God, that they showed trust and faith in their God. And then we're going to continue to glue the rest of the men on here. and just position them in a way that they can kind of be alongside the Son of God. And then I'll show you this when I have it done. And then we'll get started making our flames. And here's our final guy. And you know, I always say this, and I want to include this message again, is that, you know, every time we do these little activities, you know, if you're watching and you're actually making these little crafts yourself, please share them with us. You know, go on our website and drop us a line, give us a message, all right? And these are going to be our 3 guys in here, and they're going to be like that, all right? And you can position them however you need to make them look better in there. And then what I decided that works nicely for this also is to take a little bit of your red tissue paper, and you're going to put it in the very back of it, just behind it, because that way when the light shines through, it gives you that illusion, okay, that it's actually fire behind them, all right? Because we know a furnace, there's fire all over. If you're putting someone in a furnace, there's fire everywhere in there. So we want to have some fire behind them. Just glue it onto the back. Take your time. Right? And then this is where then you're going to get creative with your flames, all right? You're going to, you know, just grab some tissue paper. Just like we did some of those torn paper exercises, you're going to take some tissue paper and you're just going to tear it. Just rip a little piece here and there, kind of crunch it up so you have something like this going on, all right? And you have little, these are going to be your little flames. And you can put them on the top, you can put them on the bottom, you can put them all throughout your picture just to make it look realistic, okay? Like it's really flames. And again, that's where our Elmer's glue comes in handy. Now we can take this, just bunch it up together, and just dab a little bit of glue right on the top of your furnace. And then just stick them right on top of there. All right, so that's going to be on the top of your furnace. And then what I would recommend is that take a piece of construction paper, large enough that can fit underneath nicely on your furnace. And at this point, if you want to, you can trace around it just so you know where your furnace is. You can have a little circle here. Just lightly put a circle around, just to kind of give you a guide. And then within that circle, which I didn't do a great job with that circle, but within that circle, what you could do is make some little spots of glue in little areas in here. And then you can pull your paper and just crunch it up. And these are going to be your little flames, all right? So this is going to be your little flames going on. You could do orange, you could do yellow, you use whatever you have, all right? And just make it fun, have fun with it. I'm gonna crunch them up. You can put some on the outside if you want to, because we know that the fire was so blazing hot that those flames were actually coming out, right, of that furnace. All right, so you're gonna have it like that. And we're going to even put a little bit on the outside right there, just to have a little bit, just to give us a little bit more color. Right, like that. Okay. And then we're going to place our cup on top of that. And as I said, there were a couple different Bible verses that I had in mind for this lesson that I think are so perfect for the story. You can just place it right on top. And I want to share those with you right now. All right. And they come from Mark 11:22, and this is what it tells you for that Bible verse. Have faith in God. See, and in this story, we have to have faith in God. The other one is Hebrews 11:6. And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. And the last one I want to share with you is from Luke 1:37, and it reads like this: "For nothing will be impossible with God." And how true that is with the story. Something that seemed like they would lose their lives, well, God was there with them and he protected them. So again, we're finished up with this little project. Please have fun with it if you're going to do it. Let me find my little flashlight. I'll shine the light through here so you can kind of get a visual of how this one turned out. And let me just hold it up here a little bit. And we'll see how that works. I think my light might be going out a little bit on this. All right, but it kind of shows you through the three men along with the Son of God inside there. So have fun with it. We'll see you next week for another lesson. And until then, have a wonderful week and God bless.